To This Ain't Normal. I'm your host, Karee Neptune, with my co-host and cousin Chaz Moore. How you doing, man?
Hey, good evening. How you?
I'm good, man. So we just watched this. I guess it's not a State of the Union. It's what is it? Presidential address? Is that what it is?
Something like that. Yeah, address to Congress, address to the nation.
So
Yeah.
is it because this is his first year that it's not officially a union address? Is that why?
Well, I mean, it's not even been 2 months. So a State of
Yeah,
the Union, it would be, um, it just a State of the Union would be presumptive. But if you're going to claim that you've made these changes in the first 60 days, then you have to kind of go with the good and the bad changes. You
yeah.
know, I think there's definitely, his predecessors 60 days in definitely would say, well, the economy is not my fault, right? The stock market crashing is not my fault. But he's kind of trying to he's trying to own some parts, not every part. I think that's kind of difficult doing this so early. I don't really think this was a great idea this early in the
Mm.
presidency.
Yeah, because you're right. It kind of does involve a lot of gaslighting. Like the economy is not doing that great right now. Price of eggs, which I guess part of
Yeah,
the reason why he's won, skyrocketed.
yeah.
But he kind of has to pretend that things are great and things are going to be. We're in the middle of a golden age, so it is kind of a weird. You're right. I'm not sure it made a lot of sense for him to do this right now if I was advising him. But I mean, he's gaslit his way to be president twice, so I guess he's thinking I'll just gaslight some more and my supporters will believe it, and the people that don't, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, what was he really telling us about? Besides some of the special guests he brought on,
Yeah.
what was he telling us about? You
Well,
know,
Biden definitely sucks according to Trump. Like
yeah,
Biden was terrible. I mean,
yeah,
he dunked on Biden, which is kind of like we're kind of in a phase, I think, of politics. It's like there's literally no benefit to being magnanimous, and
no, no, there's not,
yeah,
no,
and Biden was magnanimous to Trump, and I mean, especially to be magnanimous to a guy like Trump is absurd, and all you get is dunked on by doing that. So the funny part, it kind of made me mad at Biden to see him just getting trashed like that. Like, and you invited this guy, and you're friendly with him, and he's just dunking you on you like that. I don't know. That kind of pissed me off. How did you feel about that part?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, and I know this is kind of an old subject. I think Michelle was right to not go to the inauguration. I
Yeah,
think she was absolutely wrong to not go to President Carter's funeral.
sure.
I thought that was a bad play. Um, I don't care what the seating arrangements were. That was disrespectful. Like, I mean, I can just call that what it is. That was disrespectful to the Carter family. But she was absolutely well within her right, and I will say she did the right thing by not going to the inauguration.
Now, what about
Um,
this? Like, if you're a congressman, would you have gone to this?
I thought I really thought that there was going to be more. I think it was Congressman Green,
Yeah,
AC
Congressman
Green.
Green. Yeah,
I thought that that was going to be. I was like, okay, they
gonna
all
get
going to do
rowdy.
that. Yeah, I thought they were all going to do something like that. I thought that was a strong move.
Yeah.
For him to get kicked out. I thought others were going to follow in his footsteps. The short answer is I'm a civilian at home and I watched it. So if I was a Congress member, would I watch it? You know, probably. But I think way Congressman Green did it is definitely the way to go. I think he gets a lot of points there.
Yeah,
That
it's
that was
funny.
really, really good.
It's funny because I was like, oh man, this might be rowdy. Like, because he did it
Yeah,
pretty early. I was like, oh, this might be the one. But you're right.
yeah.
Yeah, he was really the only one. I mean, they kind of booed in certain places, but it wasn't anything too crazy. But
No, they
I was looking forward to. I was like, okay, the Democrats are not playing this time. They're just gonna like
no. I, I
kick
thought I
everyone
thought
out.
I thought he was one of many.
Yeah.
And then when he was one of one, all and definitely all kudos to him, and that was really good. But he should have been the only one
Uh,
escorted out.
they
You
should have.
know,
They should have had to like stop it. it'd be like, okay, we'll be back once we kick out all the Democrats.
Yeah, that would have been so like I think that the Democrats they either do one or two things. They either all don't go,
Yeah,
like none of them show up, or a bunch of them let themselves get kicked out by
yeah.
just being disruptive. And I also think, and I don't think this is going to happen, but in 2026, if they were to take the House, they do not do any State of the Unions at the Capitol. They he doesn't open it, so he doesn't let them do it.
Oh, because you're saying the Speaker of the House has the authority to be like, we're not doing it.
Yeah. So basically, I would say the speaker just like, no, we're not. I'm not giving you that.
Yeah,
If you
because
want
what's
to
the
do
point?
it, yeah. What's the point?
Yeah,
We're not doing that. Like you said, it's been magnanimous. Like, I can definitely see the Republicans doing that. And here's the thing: is Democrats in the future they're gonna have to escalate, right? Like, so you can't just let Republicans do the thing like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Democrats are gonna have to do some stuff like, oof, I can't believe they did that. So I think if the Democrats
sure.
ever take back the House, they uh they should not let they should not let the State of the Union go in the Capitol. It's like, no, we're
Yeah.
not doing that. Doesn't matter what he is, we won't do it.
No, I agree. I definitely think like Democrats in a position now, they're gonna have to escalate. Just that's just
Yeah.
I mean, it probably won't end well for the country by doing that, but they can't
No.
just disarm. I mean, you can't politically disarm when like a party's gone radical, like the Republicans have.
Right, like, speaking of won't end well, like Zelensky, right? Like here's the thing. Does he go back and apologize for nothing? And like I get it. If he did, I wouldn't lose respect for him because I understand what he's doing. But then everyone else is like also like you don't need to apologize. There's no need to apologize. But like if he did it, like he's putting country over self. So I get it. Um,
Well, I mean, Trump read that note that Zelensky sent during the speech, and it wasn't quite an apology. It was more like, "Hey, we want to do business with you." But you're right though. I wouldn't. I mean, he's in a fight for his nation. I wouldn't get mad if he like groveled. I mean,
no, no,
how can I get mad at that?
yeah, I don't want him to, but I get
Yeah,
it. It's like, well, it's either that or people die. It's like your pride's not worth, your nation. And that's the thing too is one of that kind of back and forth was so insane because the aid that JD Vance was saying, have you ever said thank you about? That was aid that Biden gave or Biden signed in. So it's like what you should he should you're just saying say thank you to President Biden, but
and he's
no that's
yeah,
it's so ridiculous. The whole thank you is ridiculous.
and he said thank you a bunch of times already. Like,
He did. There's a video
yeah,
out there, and it's 4 minutes of Zelensky saying thank you, and it's literally just
yeah.
4 minutes of him saying thank you to the United States over and over again.
I mean,
It's
I'm sure like the CIA and FBI and whatever his intelligence services warned him, like, hey, like Trump's gonna try to f you, like she's gonna try to flip you. But I'm sure he's even after that he's probably caught off guard, like how Trump kind of did him, how Trump advanced they ambushed him.
yeah, I think he was caught off guard.
Yeah. So another thing
Yeah,
about the
I was so embarrassed. So it's hard to watch. I don't know. I mean, I've watched it like 3 times, and every time it's even harder to watch than the first time. It's really hard to
it's
watch.
it's awkward because nothing like that's. I mean, people have said nothing like that's ever happened in Oval Office, like at that level.
Yeah,
Which is, I mean, it seemed kind of minor in the long run, but like you're right, the decorum is so big there for the breakdown of just the decorum is like, damn, like we really America really has is changing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so back to the speech. Another thing I wanted to talk about was he made a big thing out of this transgender issue. Now I know that helped him in the election. The
yeah.
transgender thing helped him, whether we like it or not. It did help him. But he spent a lot of time talking about that, and he talked about he brought some woman. I kind of laughed. I shouldn't laugh at this, but he was talking about this one woman who was playing against a transgender person in a volleyball game.
I got her face smashed it.
He
That's
spiked it.
terrible.
It was terrible, but I was like, damn, okay. Like in that instance, yes, I can see it. But it's like how many of these people even watch women's sports? Like,
Zero, because they're not because women's sports besides like swimming is they're not interesting.
yeah, so for them to make such
College
a
basketball.
sure maybe, but for them to make such hay out of this issue, which I mean, how
No,
many?
look, I'm gonna be honest. The
Yeah,
Democrats are wrong. Trump
specific.
is Trump is on the right side of the American public here. He
Oh,
just is.
politically, yes, but I guess my point is he's spending a lot of energy over things that like how many
No, he's
people does it?
not. No,
Well,
I don't. I disagree, and I disagree because it worked.
okay, it did work.
Right. So he's spending a lot of energy. Like he doesn't spend a lot of energy on, for example, Iran nuclear,
Sure.
right? Which is extremely important, which is way more important than this.
Yes.
But nobody cares
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. He's doing it because it's working. I guess the question is why it hasn't worked so well when it affects so few people.
because Democrats are wrong on thinking how popular trans is.
But okay, but let's assume all that's true. Democrats are wrong. Trump is right. It's not popular. Why is it so unpopular when it affects so few people? I guess that's my question. In your opinion,
Mhm. Because it doesn't. If it actually affects tons of people, and the way it affects people is, uh, I make you call me ma'am. So that's how it affects me on my day-to-day basis, right? And that's how it affects you on your
okay,
day-to-day basis. It's not really about sports is one of the things, but it's about controlling of speech and controlling of this is how they frame it, controlling of
okay,
speech, freedom of speech, um and then like traditionalism, and some core like just family values and stuff. But telling someone I have to call them ma'am or respect them as a woman, it and I have my own thoughts about it for sure, but that's how it is. It affects everyone. You're having this 1% of the nation change how I have to talk.
okay.
It's literally perfect for Republicans, right?
Well,
It's a extreme minority saying that the majority has to change how they behave.
that's
It's
a
perfect.
no, that's a very very good point, and I think the fact that it a lot of Democrats didn't look at it that way, obviously it backfired on Democrats. But I guess for me, it still comes down to, yeah, if you're conservative, you're not gonna like that from jump, regardless of the situation. But the implication is a lot of swing voters, people who are like on the fence who to vote for, were like, this is the issue where I'm gonna make me that's gonna make me vote for Trump. I think that's the part that's a little confusing to me. But I guess you're arguing that that's a very important issue for some people.
No, the issue is
The switch,
a minority telling the
yeah,
majority what to do. That's the issue.
sure.
So like you can kind of insert whatever you really want in there. It's not really that relevant. But the fact that the rest of the whole country has to do something that a lot of people aren't comfortable with, um, because a extreme minority wants, yeah, no. No, they just no, that's I mean, it literally is Republican red meat on a platter.
But
And Democrats to play into it, and this is the bad side, like look, the Democrats are not the ACLU. It is not their job to fight every uh for every single um issue. That's what the ACLU does. This is not a winning issue for the Democrats. And Democrats, in my opinion, Democrats need to say, yeah, I'm in favor of bathroom bans. That's what I think the Democrats should be doing because they have to move to the right here. They have to. There's one poll I just don't believe. Out of all the polls, the one poll I do not believe,
what?
Trump's unpopular. That's the only poll I don't believe.
But what's your definition of popular?
Donald Trump. I couldn't I can't like if you're gonna say, hey, what is numerically what is popular? I don't know. I mean, numerically you would say uh you would say upwards of 60%. And now I know the poll doesn't is not going to show 60%, but I think Donald Trump is an extremely popular person, an extremely popular personality.
But
And my evidence for that is the stuff that he's able to get away with.
I think, see, to me, I look at it differently. I think he realized that if he has a minority of people that are with him no matter what, you can accomplish a lot. So I
That's
think
true.
I think he's like, you know what? If I have 45% of people with me, that's with me no matter what. It's better than having 60% of people who kind of lukewarm with
Oh,
me.
fair weather.
Yeah, fair weather with me.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I mean,
fair.
yeah, because I mean he won 51-49. It's not like he won by some huge margins. And
No, but
you'd have to argue that he's more popular than when he was elected, which might be true, but I don't think he's way more popular than when he got when he
I,
got
I,
elected.
if you would have said even 2 years ago that a Republican can win the popular vote, I would have laughed at you.
Sure, yeah,
Right. And so I do believe he has a mandate because he did something that most people who are into politics said was impossible. Democrats are begging for popular vote to be it because we thought there's no way a Republican could ever win it. So the fact that he won the popular vote, to me, that is the mandate. That's like I get it when people are saying, "Well, he only won a plurality." He did something that was which I believed and which I was told was impossible for Republicans. He did something that was impossible for Republicans.
I
He won the
agree with
popular vote.
I agree with that, but I disagree with the part that makes because no one thought he could do it. It gives him a mandate. It's still 51-49. It's still like damn, I can't believe he did it. But it's 49% of people are like I am not voting for him under any circumstances. And in our system of government, it's hard to like push through what he's trying to push through at 51. Like I just don't think it's gonna work at
Mhm.
51. And now maybe something changes with the economy and it gets better and then he can go up. But I was wrong about the popular vote. So maybe you're right. Maybe he's more popular than we want to imagine. But I truly don't think he can do what he's trying to do at 51%. I don't.
Well, so this is like let me ask you a question. Do you think there will be 2026 elections?
We should, I do want to mention that. But to me, so I feel better if he's popular. If you think he's popular, I actually feel better about America because to me, he's governing like someone who doesn't plan on having elections. Like I hate to say it, and I mean it sounds kind of crazy
No.
if you, but the things he's doing with the things he's saying, the firing, the way they're firing all these workers and the tariffs, I I don't see how this could be popular. I mean, even the economy's not like even the CEOs are like, oh man, like we might have made a mistake back in Trump.
Yeah,
So,
the tariffs just started today, so we'll see how that plays.
but how can it work? How how can they work?
Yeah, and we kind of had this talk before. It is working for who it needs to work for. So what do you like when you say that? It's like, how could it work for you? Well, duh. It's not supposed to work for you. It's how does it work for him and his people. But I heard this thing about the election of 2028, and I guess in the Constitution, and it's been a while since I read it. Um, but that it says you can't run for office a third time. It says you can't run for office, but it doesn't say you can't serve in the office. And
Mhm.
so the one of the workarounds would be he's the vice president for JD Vance, and then JD Vance steps down and he assumes presidency, which seems insane, but uh, I guess it's not specifically outlined in the Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, to me, all bets are off in 28. Like,
Yeah.
I can see elections in 26 and Democrats doing well,
I
but
think there's elections in 26. I
yeah,
do.
yeah. Short of some black swan terrorist event where he can use that to justify it, but
Mm.
28 to me, I can't see Trump leaving office. I just can't, and
No, I can't either.
I hope I'm
I,
wrong, but
I I can see elections, but I can't see him leaving office.
yeah, he could just be like, hey, they cheated again, but this time I'm not
Mm.
leaving. and then
Right.
what are you gonna do about it? So, but I mean, that's the worst case
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As
So
far as good.
I was gonna say, so let's get back to the transgender thing because I think you're right. I think that's an issue that Democrats have to say, you know what, like we can't fight on this hill, which sucks because especially as a Democrat and as a black man, like you want to fight for people that are kind of like not in the, I mean, yeah, I guess there are the margins of society, but obviously politically you got to be. I think Democrats are gonna have to be much more hard edge because you're right. That's why Trump keeps on talking about it
It's a
because
it's a
it's a
it's a
winner.
winner.
Yeah,
It's a winner. And I don't think I don't think the majority of no, I think the plurality of Democrats are in favor of trans rights, the plurality, but I'm not. I don't know if it's the majority,
yeah,
but
it's probably like
I'll say
50-50.
no. I don't think so.
No,
I think it's probably 48 to, and then maybe like you know 35 against, and whatever the rest is don't care. I don't think they have the majority support in that.
well,
Uh,
I think it's different levels of it, right?
sure.
Do you support them playing sports? I think most Democrats probably would be a little more like, huh. But
Yeah.
do you support someone who's fully transitions to be able to use the gender bathroom they identify as? Like, I think most Democrats would be okay with that, right? I mean, I haven't seen
Yeah.
any polls on that, but
I mean, look, I'll just tell you my belief.
yeah,
I don't think you should use, I think you should use the bathroom of your sex, but I don't think there should be any enforcement, right? Like, I wouldn't be okay with penis checks.
I hope not.
I, I wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between um, constitutionally and civilly what we think America stands for and identify with, as then as far as like people's own beliefs and values and whatnot. And I do think that Democrats, at least now, are more in with the idea of, well, this is what America stands for, so I'm going to stand for these things, even if it's against some of my own belief systems.
Mm,
Um, where Republicans will quickly say, well, since it's against my belief systems, um, I can't support those things. So like personally for me, there are things that I am personally against, but constitutionally, I'm in favor for. So therefore, I'm in favor of them constitutionally. I think that's where kind of a lot of Democrats stand. But I
yeah.
think the trans issue is I've said it before. There's four issues I think Democrats need to think about. The trans issue is one of them, but the trans issue is a loser for the Democrats. Uh, they it's called politics. And if you want to play politics, if you want to govern, you got to play politics. You're going to have to lie, which is part of politics. You're going to have to deceive, which is part of politics. So, hey, if
Mm,
it helps you get elected to say keep men out of the girls' bathroom, if that helps you get elected, well, you're going to have to say that. If you want to govern, you're going to have to say things that you may or may not believe,
mm-hmm.
but it helps you get elected. I don't know what Trump really believes on that.
Probably doesn't care either way.
Oh, he doesn't care. Yeah,
Yeah,
he would change his mind if it was politically advantageous.
of course, he'll say that.
So I don't think he really cares. Um, you know, I don't think he really cares. Uh,
Yeah,
but trans the reason why it's brought up because it is a big issue because Democrats will scream foul for 1% of the population and it irritates 49% of the population. You know,
yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess, like I said, that'd be the only way to explain. Not that everything he does makes sense, but that'd be the only thing, the reason to explain why he keeps talking about it. In that speech, he spent 15 minutes talking about it. Um,
Well, he doesn't talk about the things that like he doesn't talk about he's going to bring egg prices down.
uh,
because one, he knows he can't, and since he knows he can't, that's not a winner. It was a winner in the election, talking about bringing egg prices down. He's good at telling you what you want to hear.
Obviously.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how he got
Yeah.
elected twice.
Well,
He's really good at that.
and I think one thing too, which I thought about, which I guess we could talk more in detail later. I think it's really, really, really hard for people to admit they got played politically.
Yeah,
I think it's just very difficult. And I
yeah.
and I
I think you're
think
right.
and I think Trump has identified that as, you know what? I'm gonna be Elon Musk in. We're gonna do all this crazy shit. People didn't vote for this, but it's hard for people to be like, you know what? Trump played me. All those people that make all those liberals who are making fun of me and saying that he can't do shit about egg prices and all this, they were right. Like
Yeah.
people don't do that.
No, no.
People will just change their mindset to some
Yes.
keep on supporting Trump. And I mean we've talked about that back and forth, but like I don't think because that's why I don't think Trump's poll numbers are going to collapse. Like I don't think he's popular per se, but I don't think they're going to collapse because people are just going to find any excuse because
Yeah, they can move the goalpost.
they'll yeah
I had this conversation where someone said, you know, talk about going to Mars. And he said that better be Elon's money. This is a Trump supporter. He said that better be Elon's money. Now, Trump mentioned Mars tonight. So I just wonder, is he going what now this one is a Trump supporter. He's one of the only Trump supporters where I actually will hear things. If he doesn't like it, he just says he doesn't like it.
okay.
But he's definitely a diehard, huge Trump supporter. But he
He'll
will say
acknowledge
something.
he'll acknowledge when things are going off the rails, but he'll still support Trump.
Yeah, still support Trump if he's going off the rails, but I don't know. I think he just said like he don't like it,
Yeah,
But I just wonder what he's gonna say about Mars. I think he's probably gonna say, yeah, that's fucked up, but I still gonna support him.
and
Like I remember when the comment was, he said like he had a bigger crowd than Martin Luther King, and he's like, yeah, that's a stupid thing to say, but still supporting him,
yeah,
you know.
no, yeah, and there's probably very little that person. There's very little that can happen that get that person to change his mind on Trump. I mean, eggs could be $1 an egg, and I don't think he's going to change his mind, right? So like,
Yeah, and they're
that's
close.
yeah. So that's what Trump is banking on. Like, I got 40% of people no matter what, and I'm gonna institute this oligarchy. Elon Musk, we're gonna do all this stuff, and I'm gonna have 40% of people with me no matter what. And in our system, that might be enough to carry the day. Especially if shit hits the fan, 40% of people are gonna be fighting against that fan. Like, I mean, they're gonna, it ain't gonna be like everyone's on the street protesting for Trump to leave and there's no counter protesters. That's definitely not gonna happen.
Why? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. Why wasn't um why wasn't Ukraine and why wasn't that part of this speech here? There wasn't a big section dedicated to Ukraine. The British Prime Minister said um he said they're considering putting boots on the ground in Ukraine. And so if a British soldier gets shot, Um, historically, that's the same as an American soldier getting shot.
I think that Trump's Ukraine policy has backfired. I just think I think it backfired him. I think he thought that he'd have to Europe and Ukraine would have to go with America wants because we are funding most of the money. I don't think he thought that the rest of Europe would try to cut out America. So when the British Prime Minister and French Prime Minister are like, "Hey, we'll just cover we'll bring in our troops and we'll cover it." I don't think they're expecting that. I really don't. Like this is not some 8-dimensional chess game Trump is playing. I think he just thought Zelensky will grovel, NATO will grovel. We get that mineral deal. Putin will get what he wants. Trump will get what he wants. I just think it hasn't worked out that way.
Mm.
So he can't really talk about it that much. I mean, you know. But the advantage Trump has is most people don't care about foreign policy as
Right.
long as Americans aren't getting killed. So he could cut some terrible deal. with Putin and exile Europe, and there might be war, but like Trump could be like, hey, like I prevented World War III. Me, me and Putin have a deal. We prevented World War III. There's no Americans getting killed. After that, who cares?
You you think you think Europe can go to war without you? Europe can go to war without the United States?
I think they would probably smash Russia without the United States, but I guess the wild card's nukes, right? But I think England has nukes, France has nukes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think I don't think nukes is a part of this thing.
Yeah,
I think nukes Russia uses nukes if there's an invasion towards Moscow, and
yeah,
this war would be more of kicking people out of Ukraine, which I don't think that's worth. I don't think the Russians even think that's worth nukes over.
no, no,
I don't think.
because that'd be the end of
Um,
Russia.
yeah, exactly. That'd be the end of Russia. So I
Yeah,
don't think the Russians are gonna. I, I don't think anyone's going nuclear over this. Um, but
I don't. I just don't think there's a win for Trump here because I don't think Zelensky's gonna make a deal that's gonna give Putin what he wants, and obviously Trump and Putin have something they want out of it,
yeah, they
but
do.
I just don't see a win because like if I'm Zelensky. I think he's lost like 50,000 people, like a lot of people. Like he can't just be like, okay, never mind, we're done here. Like give Putin what he wants. Like
No, he can't be,
he can't do
and his
that.
people don't want that either.
Yeah, no, like
Um,
especially if you have family members who died and been bombed. Like no way.
no,
Like no, we're not
no,
giving
we're not
Russia what
giving
they
them.
want.
No, we're not doing that. And
Like that.
so
That's what people think. Like, what would you do if you're an American in that situation? You'd be like, no, we're not. We're fighting on. Like, who gives
they're
a
like,
shit?
okay, they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to take Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and a part of Upper New York State.
Yeah,
Fuck, you are.
yeah.
I'm not giving you that.
No, we'll fight to the death.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
exactly.
fight to the
You
death.
know, I could be in Southern Oklahoma, and I'm not giving you a part of Minnesota. Are you
Yeah.
out of your fucking mind?
And
Fuck off, man.
I don't think because Trump hates military and hates the military. I don't think Trump's not like that because Trump's not a patriot.
Hmm.
Trump's a New York real estate guy, deal maker. So like he's probably like, hey, give him Michigan, and like we'll throw you some cash, and like who cares about Michigan? Like
They
that's the
didn't
way
vote
Trump.
for me.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Trump,
yeah.
Michigan didn't vote for me. Like there's Muslims there. Who cares about Michigan, right? Like
Yeah, 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 yeah,
that's the way
yeah.
Trump would
No,
play it, but like
right.
because he doesn't think about like patriotism. It's all about a deal.
Yeah, it's about a deal. So
Yeah,
because I mean, even kind of like when he's talking about Greenland, he's talking about trading Puerto Rico for Greenland. You're right. It's just a deal.
yeah. And Puerto
It's,
Ricans are
it's,
like, what? Like, I mean, people in Greenland are like, I don't understand, but it's like, it's just trading hands. Who cares? Like, it's a deal.
yeah,
He's talking about going to Panama. Like, Panama will get it back, and like,
literally, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna trade Atlantic Avenue for like
for
Illinois'
Marvin
place.
Gardens. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
Marvin
exactly.
Garden, whatever.
Yeah, it's
It's
Monopoly.
literally it's Monopoly.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, he's like, I'm just trading. He's just trading Monopoly cards. It doesn't matter.
yeah. And if you
Yeah,
take out the patriotism aspect of it, then it kind of that's what it is, right?
yeah.
Like,
Then it absolutely is that.
yeah. But if you factor the patriotism, it's like, oh, people are willing to die for this.
Yeah, like Marvin Gardens are my life. All my life, Marvin Gardens.
No trade. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's just and I think one of the reasons why Trump won is because no one's ever met anyone like Trump, and I think he's rewired a lot of brains.
Yeah, he absolutely has. But because he rewired brains, but he rewired the media,
Yeah,
and the media made so much money and so many ratings off of him. So many careers have been made and not made off of this larger than TV star. I mean, Fox lost what, $700 million for him,
yeah.
and still treating him like a god. Like man, the money is something.
The
The money
media,
is something. MSNBC, they're going through this thing. I mean, all major medias are going through this thing. But not to get too much off of the speech, but just I don't. There's just not. There's nothing really in the speech to talk about. But just I just he likes being on TV. That's what the speech is really about. That's what this whole, like you said, changing minds is changing media. That's why we even have this State of Congress speech with 45 days in office. This we shouldn't. This is silly to actually have
Yeah,
this.
it doesn't make sense
No,
that
it doesn't make sense.
we'd have this like yeah, unless it was some like national emergency, like while we're
Right,
having this, yeah,
right, yeah. I mean, exactly. If there was, you know, w- there's nothing really to talk about here.
yeah. I guess
Y-
I guess we could close it out on like this speech was irrelevant. I mean, he he talked about the things he went on, you know, but he hasn't done I mean, he's done a lot of crazy shit. We'll have to talk about in some other podcasts, but he hasn't done anything yet that in 45 days. Well, I mean, he's not going to talk about the stuff he really did. I mean, he's not going to talk about all the federal workers laid off. I mean, he's talking about making cutting down fraud and waste and all this bullshit, you know. But
Yeah, it's just the if you were to ask, if you were to ask me why did we have it, it's just so he could be on TV.
yeah,
He does like, now I will say this, he does like the pomp and circumstance. He does
yeah,
like being called Mr. Trump or Mr.
of
President.
course,
He does like the hail to the chief. So America's not into having national parades and things of like that, but he does like, he wants people to,
cheer him. He likes to be adored, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he's also looking at what were the ratings for the state to Congress, like speech to Congress. He wants to know what the ratings were.
yeah. I'm sure that's the first question. Like, how many people watched it? Yeah,
How many people watched it?
yeah. And he likes a spectacle, and I think Democrats are gonna have to like play more into spectacle in the future, even if it's all bullshit. But I mean, that's just
Yeah,
where we're at.
but on the flip side, it's difficult because, and not to be like, Democrats are independent thinkers. I think anyone can really get the wool pulled over their eyes, but you know, I, I just it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for Democrats to come back. I mean, I just don't really even see the path forward for Democrats is Trump has to die, right? So besides that, it's just like, okay, well, time will take care of it, but I don't really actually see how the Democrats come back. Like if we're talking it out, how did the Democrat if Trump was 20 years younger, how did the Democrats come back?
Yeah, they'd be the world of shit. They'd be the world of shit. Because he would definitely have the office there. He, I
Yeah.
mean, it'd be war. I mean, or he'd just be dictator for life. That'd be the only options.
Yeah, like I don't see how Democrats come back if he's 20 years younger. The
Yeah.
only reason why I know they come back this time is because he's 80. But if he was 60, I'm not really sure exactly how.
I mean, I think the way back is he wrecked shit so badly that even like the Trump supporters who aren't die hard are like, yeah, this is bad. We need to change. But that's not gonna be easy. Even if things go south, it's still not gonna be like a walk in the park to get back in power.
No. And I can understand the Democrats believing in, what was it? Is it an 80, it was an 81 or 80 in 80 when Reagan won 48 states.
Yeah,
I can
84.
see them saying 84. Okay, I could see them saying that their party is over, but they still knew that Reagan wasn't like, yeah, this is the end of democracy. This is like, no one, that wasn't even a thought. That's just like, we have to really change what our party is about. And Bill Clinton was definitely more of a centrist, a very popular centrist. Um, but yeah, this is kind of different because this person has talked about
Yeah.
ending and has changed democratic norms where, like I said, if he was 20 years younger, I don't see exactly what Democrats play is to get out of this.
Couldn't agree more. But the good news is he's not 20 years younger. He's an old man. And JD Vance is a weirdo. You know,
JD Vance is a weirdo, and don't get
yeah,
me wrong. Now he's extremely dangerous. Some of the stuff I've been reading and seeing about him, and then
yeah,
the tech oligarchies that back him, I think he's extremely dangerous. But he's a weirdo. He's not
yeah.
charismatic. He wears
No,
mascara.
yeah.
You
Trump
know,
Trump is probably one of the most unique figures in American history. Like it's not going to be easy to replace Trump. Like on some bullshit, what they want to do, no way. It's not going to be easy.
no,
Yeah.
no.
So
Um,
yeah, you're right.
yeah, like I think the one thing about Trump is, or one of the things about Trump is Americans have known Trump for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
So he's not like he didn't come out of nowhere.
No.
We he's in Home Alone too.
Yeah. He was on Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like it's a person that we're all very familiar with as a celebrity. I hope that we're not going into an era of uh celebrity, celebrity politics.
Yes, that's exactly the era we're entering.
Okay, then. Well,
Yeah. The next Democratic Party president will be someone who's actually well known,
like
outside,
Jon Stewart.
like Jon Stewart or Mark Cuban, someone who's like outside of politics, who's probably rich, and has like a celebrity following. Unfortunately, that's where we're going.
I I mean, I guess it's not inherently bad. I'm not in favor of that, but I guess it's not inherently bad. But man,
That's the bread and circuses world we live in, social media. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, Chaz. So I guess the final point is that there was no point having this presidential address podcast because nothing was important was talked about.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll talk about some other issues soon.
yeah, that sounds good.
Chaz, talk to you soon, buddy.
See you.